Hello there everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joesephyr and welcome to another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, but today it's not going to be a should you pull video. Next week we should get the next community stream for Dissidia and it will contain everything that we're going to get for December. And there's a very good chance, and it'll be very embarrassing if we don't, but there's a very good chance that we're going to be getting Lightning's LD and Burst during the very early stages of December, as well as brand new things in level 80 Awakenings and a brand new mechanic entirely in Call abilities. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would preempt this, and I thought I'd make a video outlining exactly what level 80 brings along and what Call abilities are, and some early recommendations for you on basically what Call abilities you should be looking at and why. So if that's all stuff that you're interested in, then of course stay tuned and keep on watching. Of course, don't forget to check out all of my social links in the description box below as well. On Twitch this week, I'm obviously going to be streaming Gladiolus' event, and then next Monday on the 30th, along with the community stream, I'll be doing a viewing party for that. So feel free to come and join in with that if you'd like to do something a bit different for Opera Omnia. I always do Final Fantasy Countup on Friday nights, I always do FF14 and Chill on Sundays, and on Saturday I actually have a bit of extra time, so I'm doing an extra stream as well. And I've got a few options there. I'm actually going to put it out as a vote for you guys as to what you'd like to see from me. So check out the link in the description box to my Twitter, and I'll give you some options on things that you might like to see from me. It'd be great to hear from you. With Patreon, I always shout out one of my patrons every time I release a video, and today that person is going to be Farbear, who's actually been a viewer of mine for quite a while now and very active in my Discord, so thank you very much for joining in with Patreon. And if you would like a title card, just like Farbear has here, or you'd like extra benefits such as voice chats with me every month, or joining in with the Would You Pull sections of my Should You Pull videos, then perhaps consider becoming a patron yourself. Don't forget to check out all of the links in the description box below for Opera Omnia related websites, of course, and all the other content creators out there besides myself. So first things first, before we look at Call abilities, exactly what they are, etc., let's have a look at what one gets by upgrading from Crystal level 70 to Crystal level 80. Now, this was released alongside Lightning and her event and the Burst and LD in the Japanese version of the game, and because it's very likely to be the same with us in the global version, I thought it would be good to get a primer out now so that you guys can go in prepared for when the announcements are made next week. Now, this uses a brand new tier of crystal, just like the level 60 and level 70 versions before it, so we're getting the 6th tier of crystal. And one thing that people complained about a lot, myself included, when level 60 and level 70 were released, is that you really didn't get very many of the tier 6 or tier 4/5 crystals when they were released, and you had to kind of stagger your level ups with characters and had to pick and choose between them. Well, in the JP version of the game with tier 6 crystals, significantly greater numbers of them were released from the get-go because the developers realized that people weren't very happy about this. They are available just by clearing missions, just like you would like with any of the others, and they are available within co-op shops, but they are quite expensive. So you are going to have to do a fair few number of co-ops in order to be able to get all of the crystals you want. And according to the JP version of the game as well, you could actually get everyone who's featured in an event to level 80 just about if you farmed them enough. So instead of or you'd be able to do it at a much quicker pace than you certainly could during the level 60 release or the level 70 release. If you want to prepare for leveling up to level 80 already, I want to do a quick shout out here to Quetzalma and the Materia bot, who has a fantastic extension for Discord that I use in my own Discord as well, where you can look up all of the various bits of information you need when it comes to Dissidia, or if you want to sort of simulate pulls or anything like that, it's fantastic for it. But here you can see the number of crystals that you would need to go from level 1 to 70, level 60 to 70, level 1 to 80, and level 70 to 80. So if you wanted to do just 70 to 80, you can see you need 2600 tier 1 crystals, 2125 tier 2, 1550 tier 3, 425 tier 4, 325 tier 6, and 275 tier 6 crystals. So all of that is going to add up. If you want to prepare beforehand, then perhaps think about farming some of these crystals ready for each of the characters that are going to be coming out with their level 80 awakening in the near future. Now, characters will periodically get their level 80 upgrades over numerous events, just like they did when it came to level 60 and level 70 before it. The first batch, at least if we're matching up with the JP version, has Lightning, Penelo, Raijin, Vincent, Zack, and Edge in it. So what you actually get from level 71 all the way up to 80, obviously you'll be able to match your level to your crystal level both from level 71. At level 75, the character will gain both a slot opens up in order to equip a call ability, and I'll explain what one of those is in a moment, and also the ability to be called by another character. At Crystal level 78, an extra passive is learnt by the character that enhances the character in different ways depending on the character using it when they call somebody else. This is a permanent ability. It's a passive. It's not one that you have to equip. It's just there. And then finally at Crystal level 80, you get an extension to the call ability itself, and therefore, like, whenever I talk about call abilities that are discussed, or other sites also discuss them, etc., they will always be assumed to be level 80. So what is a call ability exactly? Now, using a call ability, it's a separate sort of skill that you equip by equipping a character's call ability. As I said, you need to be level 75, Crystal level 75, to be able to equip a call ability and to have your call ability equipped to another character. And then using this temporarily swaps out the character using it to the character that is having the ability used, and using a designated skill which differs from character to character, and then they leave, returning to the character that called them. And what this means is basically you get an extra skill from a character that's outside of your party, which means you can take advantage of unique buffs and effects from characters that aren't actually there, or like benefit from healing, like from a character if you're not taking much in the way of healing in your party, etc. You get one use of a call ability per character, and call abilities are actually similar to kind of C65 abilities in that they have no action delay, they don't add to the turn count, but they will eat up a summon or friend turn, and Lufenia orbs will still count down when you're using them. So there's a few extra notes that I want to make here as well. You can't use a call ability for somebody that's already in your party, nor can you have the same one equipped to multiple characters. So for example, if you have Lightning at level 75 and she's not in your party for whatever reason, you can't then equip her to two different characters, or if Lightning is in your party, one of your other party members can't then equip Lightning's call ability because she's already there. Call abilities, their damage, if they do damage, and parameters in various fashions are reflected in the called character's stats, equipment, and passives as they are within your existing roster. So this is to discourage you from literally just leveling a character to level 80 that you have nothing for, because it is going to reflect within the call ability itself. Damaging calls like Lightning's are typically lower in damage than they would have been if the character was in your party to begin with. You don't gain any EX or summon gauge when you're using one. Characters who have effects like buffs or debuffs when they enter play, or when a quest starts, etc., they like Ramza or Caius, and I'll talk about those again in a little while as well, will trigger their effect when they enter, making them desirable as core characters when they become available later on. And like LD effects as well, calls can't be made into free uses or recovered by abilities through effects like Rem's Siphon Delta or anything like that. You can't make them free or recover the uses, similar to an LD. And finally, you can't use a call ability during a burst. As I said earlier, the first batch of level 80 / call abilities that are going to become available as long as we stick to the JP schedule. Things have been known to change for the global version, so if it does, then I apologise in advance. But the first batch originally had Lightning, Penelo, Raijin, Vincent, Zack, and Edge. Now, of these characters, the ones you're most likely to want to use more frequently are going to be Penelo, because she uses Regen Waltz when she comes in, giving you access to healing that you wouldn't have had ordinarily, and a unique framed buff. Edge, because he uses Smokescreen, making it so that like the enemies are locked to the character that called him, and therefore are going to miss him, and it's basically avoiding an attack altogether. Although those two are the most prominent ones as far as I can tell straight away, it doesn't mean the others are write-offs either. Zack inflicts Lock with his Chain Slash, which could open up some interesting interactions as time progresses and more characters get their level 80 awakenings. And then Vincent actually inflicts... He does his Deadly Beast Flare, which inflicts Fire Resist down and Initial Bravery down. And Initial Bravery down does combo really well with certain characters. So it might not necessarily be useful straight away off the bat, but it might actually open up some alternative strategies later on for other characters that get their awakening. There are some other characters that are released like relatively soon that you might want to look at just because of their call ability. I mean, they're very, very good characters in general anyway, but their call abilities are actually very strong as well. And I've got 3 that I want to mention because there's actually a very wide variety of call abilities that you're going to use over the course of time due to being able to just take them in relation to the mission that you're using them for. Like if you need healing, then you're going to take a healing one. If you need more damage, you're going to take one that weakens them in some way. There's going to be lots and lots of different reasons for you to take various different call abilities, and it actually really does open the game wide open in terms of party composition because you've now got the ability to use characters that aren't in your main party for various different reasons. But the 3 that I want to sort of quickly mention here, Reno, when he comes out at the end of December, well, his call ability inflicts his numb debuff to all enemies, which basically is a debuff that delays the enemy by 2 turns every time they make a physical attack on you. So having that access to that on particularly aggressive enemies can actually work to your advantage very nicely. Cloud is another one that will get his awakening sort of at the beginning of next year, and alongside his LD, his burst, etc. And he uses finishing touch as his call ability, and having an on-demand launch from anywhere can prove really effective in either closing out damage, trying to force damage through to stop a Lufenia orb for going off. There's a lot of reasons that a launch just when you need it could be really, really useful. And then finally, Rude, who is going to come out sort of like right at the end of this month. He's a very strong character anyway for his ability to just be an extremely potent healer alongside all of his support abilities, and this is reflected in his call ability because he uses the skill that gives you a buttload of healing, like 20% plus healing, and still inflicts damage. So it's, if you get a break off of this as well, then it's just going to help you. And all of these give you nice buffs on top of it. But like I said, generally speaking, you're going to use a massive variety of call abilities over the course of time, just because you'll take whichever one you need for any given point in time. The last thing I'm going to talk about with this video, it's not going to be a hugely long video, is actually not coming out like in the near future. It's going to be coming out sort of around February time when Ramza gets his LD and his burst alongside the first Divine Summon, which is Diablos. We'll actually start getting access to LD call abilities. This is not something I'm going to go into huge detail now, and I will probably release a video for nearer the time, but it's an addition to the call system that allows you to summon a character in a similar way to what we're going to get in the near future, but as well as being able to use their skill 1 or 2, whichever one the call ability happens to be, you'll also be able to summon them once to use their LD. Now this will require you having the LD because alongside this, it's going to be there's going to be a release for a 4th branch in the character board tree that will allow you to enhance the LD's abilities, and in some ways this is actually massive. I'm looking at you, Squall. And it also unlocks the capability for the character's LD to be called by another character. So it's something to look forward to in the future, that the call ability system is actually sort of upgraded over the course of time, and it's something to look out for. Like if you have certain LDs like Machina or Gao or Squall, there's ones that you're going to look at and go, it might be nice having these for future as well. But like I said, we'll discuss the full extent of recommendations for this kind of thing, because obviously everyone's going to pull differently, and requiring the LD for an LD call does make a difference. But there are certain characters that I will mention that are more desirable than you would normally believe, because their call abilities and their LD call abilities are as strong as they are. Notable examples include Jack and Caius, which will come out sort of late February or around a late February time. And both of them have LD call abilities and regular call abilities that really make them quite strong. So that's going to be all for today's video. I hope that this has helped you to understand exactly what we're going to be getting with level 80 and the first few call abilities. If you have any questions, or you don't feel there's something I've missed or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment in the comments box below, or send me a message on Discord, or just contact me on Twitter, anything like that, because I really would like to try and help as best I can. And of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click that bell for notifications on any future Dissidia videos I might be making. And I shall see you guys in the next stream and or video. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.